What is going on, everybody? You already know who it is. It's your boy ExactoKnife with another banger. If you gang, drop a like before the vid even starts. And if you're new, hit that sub. This will be a series I'll be bringing back on this channel. This is not only a way for us to judge the state of the game and to talk about shit, because it's a little bit of a longer video, and if you watch the whole video, you are a GOAT, and I appreciate you. But it's also a way for y'all to learn about game mechanics and what we know, and you know what I'm saying, to pool our knowledge, to let me know in the comments how you feel about certain badges, if I don't use them enough, or if you use them more than me, or if you just have a different experience in different situations. And also for me to explain for all the new players what some of the badges do, so this can kind of be an all-around encompassing guide. This is being made on September 20th or 19th, I don't know what day it is today, of 2021. So like I said, the game's been out for a week and a half, so I don't really know 100% how everything exactly interacts, but I have a pretty good idea, and I've talked to a bunch of people. First things off, we're starting with the defense, because that's what everybody cares about, defense, right? And I think a contributing factor of a lot of these badges being damn good this year, and every defensive badge is good in its own way, because so many of them only cost 5 points for Hall of Fame. Very few of them cost 6 or 7. I think like only a couple, literally 2 or 3, cost 6 or 7 points for Hall of Fame. All of them are 5. So the more badges you can run, the better they're gonna be, and the higher tier you can run. But without further ado, let's get into it, bro. First things first, we got ankle braces. That's tough, man. Ankle braces is going to be the one and only F tier badge. I don't believe any badge is useless, but in the current meta of the game, unless you're a big with like 30 perimeter defense, in which case you don't even get this badge in general, and in which case you shouldn't even be fucking guarding a guard. Even off a switch, the lock should be coming through the screen so that you can drop. It shouldn't be no fucking full switch. But with this badge right here, as of right now, do not use this at all, please. You're wasting a badge point. Nobody gets ankle breakers, and if they do, it's a space greater ankle breaker, and this badge does nothing to prevent it, bro. There's so few ankle breakers, I haven't even seen this shit pop up yet. I tried on bronze for a bit in that 1v1 shit. Didn't seem to do anything because I don't even get my ankles broken like that. Next up, we got Ball Stripper. A lot of people sleep on this badge, but I played with my boy Elite Shooter, who is a guard. He's a really good guard in the game right now. And he has all of his badges, he's a level 40, and he was running out the corner getting all type of crazy steal animations. Maybe it's because not many people are running unstrippable as of right now, but that's besides the point. This badge definitely works. If you're forcing people to put on a whole different badge just to not lose the ball, if that changes the meta that much, that's less slashing points that they can put on posterizer and other things. This badge, if you're a guard with only perimeter and steal, or maybe only steal in general, definitely put this on, because as you get babied by a big, by a slasher, by whatever, you're even on a low tier like bronze or silver, you'll be able to boop, just take the ball from under them, and it's almost always going to be your ball, or it's going to go to bounds on them. Definitely check this badge out. Up next, we have Box. A lot of people are going to disagree with this placement, but Box is also going in the B tier. Everyone's like, oh, that's like the best badge, it's the first badge I put on. I agree. But the thing about this badge is that because all the centers have 99 rebound, pretty much, or within 99 rebound. You're rarely going to find any center without a high rebound. I don't know what type of build that would be, but there's no incentive to not raise your rebound, to be honest. And since everybody has this badge, you're not able to use Box as like a way to secure position for yourself. You're only like using this badge like, okay, I'm already there, so I'm protecting my position. You know what I'm saying? Back in the old 2K, so there was people with less rebound, and you could use Box to like get in front of them, like from the side, kind of like what Worm is supposed to do, which we'll get to at the very end, and push them out the way. With this, since everyone has Box, it's rarely gonna do anything except just already protect your position. Obviously, it's an important badge to have, at least on bronze or silver, but especially with like Hall of Fame, I would never run a Hall of Fame unless you have 40 something defensive badges. Brick Wall. This is going to be making the first appearance on our S tier for 2 different reasons. 1, everybody runs screens. 2, this badge is incredibly good at running screens. And a bonus 3 for y'all, this badge, with the rise of post scores, and I do have a series coming on my channel teaching how to play from the post. With the rise of post scores, this badge is moving truck combined with brick wall. So now, instead of having to waste points on moving truck, which nobody did unless you're playing a wager or a series or spinning the block on a post score, you're definitely going to want to have this badge. A lot of centers, even on the 3s, even in 5s, or like when their guard can't score, when the steals are OD, the guard dumps it to the center or off the board and they back you down. And if you don't have brick wall on, you're not going to be pushing them back, even if you have a very high strength. And also, if you have brick wall on, if you have a post or rim or glass take, your take will slowly inch up as you get those animations where you're pushing back into their body. You know what I'm saying? Next up, we got Chase Down Artist. This is a borderline S tier badge. I got it in the A tier just because it's, I mean, locks this year don't really get it that high, but it still works really well. But I mean, and there's not a whole lot of like lobbing the center or the center only rolling. There's not a whole lot of pure insides, so I can't put it in the S tier due to its usability. But even with that said, man, on just bronze, you're getting, especially if you have a high block, bro, especially if you have a decent speed, it's unbelievable, bro. The blocks in this game are OD, and there's another badge that we're gonna get to later that makes them just obscene. But this badge right here is off the wall, just ridiculous. If you have this Hall of Fame, you're gonna get animations like LeBron in his prime. Next up, we got clamps. Obviously going into the Hall of Fame tier for just 5 points. You can literally just stand in front of somebody's face and make them start bumbling with the ball and bumping them, just holding L2, and then you can just rip them. That's the prime opportunity. This badge drains opponent's stamina, especially if you have your strength upgraded, when you're bumping them and hip riding them and all that type of crazy shit. So if you're a build that gets this badge, have it on whatever tier you get this badge. Whatever the highest tier is, put it on. It's going to prevent the rim runs. It's going to prevent a lot of things that is going to be actual on every single court. 1s, 2s, 3s, 5s. It does not matter. Next up, we got defensive leader. This badge, a lot of y'all dump this shit right in here because it's, oh, it's just a +2, +3, +1, or +4 boost to the what do you call that shit, to the defensive stats. Well, I mean, that's a boost that you didn't have before, and especially if you have like 40 defensive badges. Obviously, if you're a guard, unless you're playing rec or something, don't put this badge on. But I got it in the B tier this year, even though it does cost 7 points. If you're one of those centers that's 40 defensive badges or close to it, and you went through college and you got the +4 for your defensive, this is such a worthwhile badge, especially for Park. In the past years, you look at the build, you know what everybody is. Shooter or non-shooter. You know what I'm saying? And if you play one of those weird old head builds, that only happens once every 20 games. And nobody ran this badge for the actual ability that it has, like floor general, that shows the people's percentages. This year, everybody is a shooter, yes, for the most part. So you're like, why would I need this badge? Well, there's a lot of post scores, there's a lot of weird build names, and a shooter with a 73 point, like a two-way playmaker, is a big difference between a shooter with a 93. You know what I'm saying? There's a big difference. And in 3-3 Pro, I ran into a guy the other day that was a two-way facilitator. And the whole game, we're like, can he shoot? Can he not shoot? And we're guarding him up close the whole game. And at the end, as like we already like flooded them after a tough game, we left them open. The motherfucker shot a shot and that shit fucking airballed. Oh, hell no. You know what I'm saying? You had this badge, you would have known that off rip. Phenomenal badge. Definitely try it out. I do recommend running it Hall of Fame or not at all. Hustler. This is a badge that I swear by and a lot of people hate on. It's in the B tier, bruh. You don't even need it that high. Almost every build gets it because it has such low requirements, has a low cost. It works on offense, on defense. Anytime there's a loose ball, it's just like I said before this game dropped. It reminds me of Scrapper from 2K16. It literally gives you, like, you're injecting some fucking heroin, bro, into your arm of your my player, and you're gonna be like, zoom to the ball. If you both have Hustler, obviously it gets negated. But if one person has Hustler and the other doesn't, it's kind of like box in that sense, you know what I'm saying? It becomes very evident, bro. Because if you are a guard, you get plucked, and the lock has Hustler, you might as well you might as well get ready to catch the inbound, because that's 2 points. Next up, we got Interceptor. This badge is going in the A tier. Although gambling this year definitely leaves you very vulnerable, a lot of times with the way shooting is and the way people run around for 24 seconds, especially with this badge, like I said, being not even that expensive and super effective in combination with Glue Hands, which is a playmaking badge, which technically should be a defensive badge. In combination with Glue Hands, you can play defense with absolute ease in the lanes and not worry if you just tap the square ones. Don't spam it, don't play every lane. But I've seen firsthand of complete people like randoms in the rec, bro. When I just go in with, a couple people on my team, which usually be trolling, randoms be getting 10 steals a game with Interceptor. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers be going crazy. Definitely tap in. Next up, we got Intimidator. This is a board. I would put it in the S tier, But this year, there's another badge that does perimeter defense, even though this badge still helps on the perimeter. This badge is mostly paint-based this year, and a lot of locks can barely get this badge if they can get it at all. So that knocks it down a couple tiers for me. The good news is, if somebody does not time their dunk perfectly for the contact dunks, or they go up with a contested dunk without timing it in traffic with just square, and you have this badge in a decent defense and you jump at them, they're 9 times out of 10 gonna miss that dunk. There's a lot of missed dunks in this game if people do not slash correctly or have the right badges or have the right build. And if you have this badge, you could win the game by just diving out the corner when somebody's isoing or the center is running or whatever's going on, and you're gonna make them miss a big dunk. Next up, we got Menace. You know what I'm saying? This badge, I would also put, it's a borderline S tier badge, but I can't put it there because, like I said, it's based mostly for locks or people with a high perimeter defense. What it basically does is it drops, it's just like defensive stopper. It doesn't drop people's badges in that sense, but it does drop their attributes. When it drops their attributes, it makes them even easier to rip. When you have this badge, you're locked onto somebody. This is what allows locks to get a lot of these steals. I'm not sure how many attributes necessarily it nerfs, because I mean, I don't think it stops attributes like ball control from making you able to speed boost from what I've seen, but it definitely drops your ball control for you to get ripped, if that makes any sense. This badge is a must for anybody that's guarding ball in any way or guarding against another guard, bro. If you're a big, I mean, I'd have it on a little bit for a switch like a bronze or silver, but I wouldn't have it too high because at that point you're gonna get mismatch experted anyways. Up next, we have Ball Pest. This badge can range from S tier for a Pro-Am player to F tier for somebody that plays, obviously, some shit like the ones or a lockdown. So this badge basically bumps people off the ball as you're playing defense. Doesn't really need an explanation. I put it at D tier because it's very few uses, but when like you're playing one of those annoying old head that just backdoor the whole play, or you're a small guard, it could definitely be a very useful badge on a low tier. It's just I wouldn't throw a bunch of points into it unless you know that's something that's gonna happen to you. Up next, we got Pick Dodger. A lot of people put this, oh, well, Brick Wall is high, so Pick Dodger should be high too. No, bruh. Here's the thing, bruh. And I'd say B is probably a little high. Hall of Fame Brick Wall versus Hall of Fame Pick Dodger. Brick Wall wins. Gold Brick Wall versus Pick Dodger Hall of Fame. It wins. Unless say I have no Brick Wall or Bronze Brick Wall. Pick Dodger Hall of Fame, I mean, it works. It helps. But if a guard knows what he's doing, just that slight obstruction of speed or you not being able to change direction for that half a second while you're fighting the screen, a good guard, you're going to need help on the screen. So I would prioritize other badges to help you either get the steal, in whether interception-wise or pluck-wise, or get the bump and then the steal, or just bump the guard so that he drains his stamina to make it so that the center can hedge and recover easier and the guard can't run as fast. So I would not worry too much about dodging the screen. Obviously, have it as high as you can if you're the on-ball defender. But I've seen guards with no Pick Dodger switch on ball, and we have to do the same thing on defense. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to switch on the poppers. You're going to have to switch on the rolls. You're going to have to hedge and recover. If the guard can bop the center, it's the same shit. Up next, we got Pickpocket. You already know where this badge is going. This badge might as well be the logo of 2K22 as of right now. Spamming is OD, and for just 5 points, you can turn yourself into a fucking menace, bro. That's what this badge should be called. This badge is the real menace badge. People, if you don't have unpluckable, say goodbye. If you don't have a high ball control, say goodbye. If you do have a high ball control, say goodbye. If you just caught the ball with a 99 ball control and play take and somebody's next to you with this badge, say goodbye. It does not matter. You're getting ripped. That's just a fact of this game. Don't blame your guard. Don't blame anybody. Blame the devs and blame this badge. Everybody gets ripped. It's okay. You know what I'm saying, bro? It's a part of life. I don't have to say anything. Pogo Stick. A lot of y'all will put it higher because it did get buffed this year. But I feel like while Pogo Stick did get buffed compared to 2K21, I wouldn't say it's on 2K20 levels of getting ghost contests, like jumping away from somebody twice and getting 100% on a standing layup with your back, because standing layups are not only good this year, but there's so many badges that help standing layups and dunks. And on top of that, there is so many ways that a post scorer can torch you, or an inside center, from rise up to fast twitch with the super fast layups. I just don't feel like running Pogo Stick unless you're running a bronze silver to help you get that board. And even still, I don't feel like it does anything. I don't feel like it's worth running, but to be honest, as a big, just time your jumps or play good hands of defense. Make sure you put all your badges onto things like Intimidator. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's some other badges up next that maybe one of these actually would probably do you better than Pogo Stick. Next up, we got Post Move Lockdown. Now, if you're playing ones or twos, obviously S or A tier, because if you run against the post score, every little bit is gonna help. If not, I feel like I feel like this is a badge worth running on every court if you're a big man, if you have a lot of defensive badges. Not only does it help you rip people in the post, which is in the badge description, it just helps you raise your takeover and just prevent like those bailout buckets and the spins, and when people just be finagling the post and moving around like an idiot. This in combination with brick wall, I'd say like this Hall of Fame, this like silver, you're boxing most people in the post if you have actual defense. You know what I'm saying? Try this badge out, bro. Especially if you're a little bit smaller, you could use every advantage you can get in the post to prevent that big drop step. You know what I'm talking about? That big drop step animation. If you get hit with that, if you're playing a 7-3 old head, you get hit with that big ass drop step, say goodbye. Rebound chaser up next. It's going to be controversial, but I am putting in the C tier. Just like box and just like what's its ass hustler. If everyone, it's a badge that it does its action well, but when everyone starts having it, as with like box and shit like that, it kind of becomes more of just like, okay, I'm putting it on because everyone else has it on. It doesn't give you any like incredible competitive advantage. That is given by your rebound rating, which everyone already maxed out, and by your vertical. So if you want to get more rebounds, I'd say you're gonna have to run this badge regardless of your build, so you might as well put more vertical in. I don't think this badge does that much. You know what I'm saying? Correct me if I'm wrong. Up next, one of my favorite badges in 2K, used to be known as a racer back in the day. If you know, drop a like on the vid. You're going S tier, baby. You know what I'm saying? The blocks in this game with just bronze rim protector are obscene. They are obscene with no boost, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people will not be running boost this year because there's no way to get unlimited. And I doubt anybody's buying block boost when they cost so much every game. So with rim protector, bruh, you're raising your takeover. I think it raises your teammates' takeovers a bit too, if I'm not mistaken. But if it doesn't matter, bro, because if you have rim or glass take, especially rim, takeover skyrockets at any level of this badge. You know what I'm saying? It raises all other takeovers too. It's just a phenomenal badge to have as a center, as a lock. You know what I'm saying? You need to have this badge defensively. Up next, tireless defender, one of my favorite badges that everyone gives me hate for. You're going in the C tier, my brother, tireless defender. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Especially at the start of the year when most of y'all don't have gym rat. A lot of y'all is not like a lot of y'all are making new builds after new builds. Y'all ain't got no VC for that extra Gatorade. Not only is this gonna help your attributes stay high, as you know, when your stamina goes down, your attributes decrease as well. Your speed, your block, your steal, everything. Even when your stamina's halfway, if you didn't know that. So when this badge is active, not only do the attribute hits are less, but the stamina goes down slower, and the fatigue, which is how much of like your bar disappears and shrinks over the course of the game, which is more relevant for like a rec game. But still, it's definitely a very useful badge for every single position that has any involvement on defense. And worm, a lot of people swear by this badge. I love it due to everybody having box, unless you're already like a 7-3 center going against like a 6-8, in which case you shouldn't even need worm to begin with. Your positioning should be unstoppable. Worm, I mean, some people can wreak havoc with this badge, so you can get a lucky push in a comp game, but I would prioritize getting in this, the way this game works, especially because a lot of centers are outside. So you're not even going to be crashing or fighting for box out like that. It's just going to be either a deep board or a run-in board, or run in the paint and then use box to get position. So I wouldn't even bother running worm on most builds unless you're a really big, slow center and you can't run around nobody. So I hope you enjoyed the video, man. These are the badges right here. Please drop a like if you made it to the end, and let me know who made it to the end. Comment. Actually, don't even comment nothing, bro. I know my real ones got my back. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Appreciate y'all for watching, and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Peace.